Greetings, my scattered sisters and brothers in the Lord. Trust you know the Lord is with you wherever you are scattered today, and that the Lord will see you through this day. We continue on in the Gospel of John, and Jesus has raised Lazarus from the dead, and the response was so great, so much commotion, people actually out to get Jesus to have him arrested, that Jesus withdrew. He goes to a small village, takes his disciples with him. Time passes, maybe 2, 3 months, and we come into chapter 12. And we discover that we're about 6 days out from the Passover celebration. And Jesus is going to make his way back towards Jerusalem. But before entering into Jerusalem, he spends some time with Lazarus and Mary and Martha. He goes to their house in Bethany. It's a couple miles from Jerusalem, and they have a dinner in honor of Jesus. And so Jesus is reclining at table with Lazarus, and this means that there's kind of a table in the center, and a group of guys are kind of leaning into the table on their side, kind of on one elbow, and using the other hand to reach to the table for food. And so you can imagine kind of the conversation going on. The guys are all gathered together, and there's Jesus, there's Lazarus. Martha is waiting on them. She's making sure that food stays on the table, that everybody has enough to drink. She's kind of putting this meal on. Mary does something that just surprises everyone, shocks them. She takes a jar of very expensive perfume, nard. And she takes that perfume and she anoints Jesus' feet. And then she wipes his feet with her hair. Now, this just shocks everyone. Judas is upset. He thinks that that the perfume should have been sold and the money given to the poor. John comments that Judas said this just because he wanted access to the money, that he was actually a thief. Jesus responds that what Mary did was right, and that this perfume, in some way, this anointing, prepares him for burial, and the perfume is for his burial. And so Jesus says that what she did was right, and that this is kind of in preparation for his burial, and that you'll always have the poor with you if you're really that concerned about ministering to the poor. But Jesus recognizes his time with them is short, and it seems that Mary maybe is aware of this. She certainly displays incredible devotion to Jesus. It was unusual in the sense that the oil was used, the perfume was used on Jesus' feet. Normally you would anoint the head. It was also unusual that Mary would be the one doing this, that normally a servant would clean the feet, wash the feet of those who came into the house, if they were able to do so. And then it's also very unusual that Mary lets down her hair and uses her hair for the wiping, the anointing of Jesus' feet. So this was just an incredible, amazing act of devotion. John comments that the fragrance of the perfume filled the whole house. That's what I want us to focus on. The fragrance filled the whole house. Now, in one sense, yes, it's the fragrance of the perfume that fills the whole house. But that perfume really is pretty symbolic of Mary's devotion to Jesus. And so we might say the fragrance of her devotion filled the whole house. So that raises the question, how's the fragrance of our devotion to Jesus? How strong is the fragrance? Does our devotion, the fragrance of our devotion, does it fill a house, a room, wherever we're at? See, Mary was so devoted that the fragrance just filled the whole house. And so there was no question mark among anyone about her devotion to Jesus. And it transformed kind of the atmosphere of the house. So, in our devotion to Jesus, what kind of fragrance does it give off? Does it give off any fragrance at all? Do we give off a fragrance of joy, a fragrance of love, a fragrance of peace? Does it show up in the way that we care for others? Does it show up in the attentiveness we have to Jesus and to the Spirit as the Spirit leads us? Just what is the fragrance of our devotion? My prayer for you, my prayer for me, is that wherever we find ourselves, that we are so devoted to Jesus that whatever room we're in, whatever area, whoever we're with, that they're able to kind of catch the fragrance of our devotion to Jesus. And hopefully through that fragrance, the Spirit will be drawing them to Jesus as well. God bless. Have a great day. And may your devotion give off the fragrance of the love, life, hope, the joy that we have in Jesus. God bless.